Okay, we are now live and I'm here with Janie Secker. I'm so excited. Hi, Janie.
Hi. Hi,
And
everyone.
Janie is in Christchurch, New Zealand. That's why we're having this webinar at 7 at night, having a little wine.
Water for me.
We are going to look at, oh good, she's having water. We're going to look at her beautiful art. We're going to have a giveaway. We are going to see her beautiful work. Do you want to hold up the beautiful piece that will be the giveaway? Oh my God, that's so gorgeous. So that's a framed butterfly that you did. Wasn't it so? That's so beautiful. That will be at the end of our little show. Wasn't that amazing how, oh, I'm just putting on the participants tab. Oh, here we go, attendees. So good to see so many people already. So what was it like today to make the big announcement, to be announced after all these months of keeping it secret?
It's just mind-blowing, really. I got up this morning and I've just so many wonderful messages. So thank you, everyone who's written to me, and I will write back. I really appreciate it. So many supportive, kind, lovely people in Make Art That Sells that just behind you every step of the way. It's just wonderful.
It must be really an out-of-body experience, practically, just so unusual. And speaking of which, I want to remind everybody to, not speaking of which, oh, we already have so many comments. So put any comments in the chat, any questions, put in the Q&A tab, and that way Kim and I can watch. Kim, say hi.
Hello.
That is Kim in the background. Hey, Tamisha's here, and Cynthia and Christy.
Hey, Christy.
Oh, Christy. Oh, that was the Christy that you were chatting with. So I want to tell you about Janie Secker because she has a really interesting story. She worked for 15 years. She had an art publishing company. She was an owner with her brother for 15 years. So they published art prints, and you, in New Zealand, wholesale, you assigned work to artists. You were on that side, which is fantastic. And you've come over to this side. She sold the business, and then about 3.5 years ago, found Matt's Make Art That Sells. For those that don't know, that's where I teach. And started taking, first she did my year of art school, and then she started taking other classes. You took illustrating children's books how many times? 3?
I think this is the 6th time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, a lot.
That's so great. And here's what I want to tell everybody. When I saw Janie's work, I was blown away. What an extraordinary stand-apart style. But she had room to grow. There were things I wanted to see her develop. Of course, because her background was in art, it was art direction and business ownership. It's kind of extraordinary. And you did develop, and you did develop. And then I gave you, shot you a little email. Are you interested in representation or something? I don't remember the exact. And we went from there. And what's so fascinating about your story is you were not somebody who had a background as an illustrator, but you did such amazing work. It really stood out, and we will look at it soon. Was there a reason that you, like, okay, so you said you saw something about Matt's maybe on Instagram or something, but why did it pop out to you enough for you to say, I want to be an illustrator? Like, how did you want to become an illustrator? How did that work?
I've always loved illustration, children's books, just from a little girl. It's been something that's been a passion of mine. Patterns, everything. I've always loved it. And so when I was working with other artists, every once in a while we would get a wee gap in the range. So I would try my hand out. I learned Photoshop that way. Yeah, so, and it's just always been something I've loved. So I did a lot of Instagram stalking, and this make art that sells place? What is this? Yeah, so.
And that was in the early years of mats. We call it make art that sells. We call mats.
3.5 years ago.
Oh, so 3.5. So we've been at this, I think this is our 8th year. So, so you took a class and you just started making art. So your process is totally digital. Is that right? Or do you do sketches on paper?
I do sometimes sketch on paper if I'm having a problem. I will sketch on paper if I'm really struggling a little bit. Just finding a direction. Sometimes it just feels freer on paper. But I mainly, a lot of the time I'm straight on the iPad.
That's fantastic. And we're going to look at her work so you'll see how detailed and rendered it is. It's pretty amazing. Let's see. So that's how you got into this crazy biz. What's that?
Catherine's saying about the Kiwi accent.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really understand me.
It's so fantastic. So your process is digital. Do you use an iPad or Wacom tablet? What do you use?
I use, up until now, I've used the iPad with Procreate. And I've just treated myself to a Cintiq. So I've got a little bit of a learning process there, but it basically works the same way. There's a few things I have to get used to. So up until now, I've just been able to work wherever I wanted to. Now, from now on, I'm going to be a little bit more anchored to a desk.
A bit more what? Anchored to the desk. Oh, yeah. To the disc. Disc means desk. Okay, yeah. I'll translate from the New Zealand. We have a question, and please do pop questions in for our lovely guest, Janie. So but how do you get so much detail? There's so much rendering. Do you blow things up and really work and then smush it back down?
I do, yes, I do. But that is the way I see as well. I don't really, I see details. They just mean everything to me. I love detail. And I really find it hard not to put it
in. So were you scared to become an illustrator? Like, was it nervous or exciting or both? How did you get the confidence to go for it?
Initially excited, and as time went on, I think I felt a little bit vulnerable about my style because I just felt like it was a little bit odd. So it did take me quite some time to wrap my head around that. But so both. I think there's always both, though. You know?
Right. Is there any?
Sometimes fear is a little bit of fear can be a good thing because it can push you, and as long as it doesn't, inhibit you.
And how do you? So for me, the only thing that doesn't give me fear, for example, something that doesn't give me fear is crocheting. Crocheting flowers doesn't give me fear. Like I say to people, doing the dishes, I'm not afraid. I can do it, but I'm just doing dishes, okay? When you make a piece of art, when you're speaking in front of a live camera, these are things that can make you more anxious, but it's because they're exciting, they're challenging, you're jumping off a cliff. So how do you deal with that fear? What can you tell fellow artists about how what do you do? Just do it. What do you do?
I think it's balance. I think having a little bit of that in your system is an okay thing. I just think it's really important not to let it get out of balance and just pull yourself back. Go and do something else. Go for a walk. Sometimes I have to stay away from social media just for a while, just to, not let it get in my head. Just pulling back, doing something else. There's that thing, feel the fear and do it anyway. And so a little bit is okay.
And when you say you have to stay away from social media sometimes, I'm sure I feel it too sometimes. Can you articulate what it is you think that people feel or you feel that you have to separate from?
For me, it's, I'm an introvert. I'm very shy and I never quite feel like I am expressing my own voice. I always feel like I'm a little bit inhibited. So that's just something that it's, you know, I think the very first post I did on Instagram was when I started Make Art That Sells. I've never been a poster. I've never, you know, really joined in with that kind of thing. I've always been a very shy person. But yeah, it pushed me, and it's been amazing for me. It's really been a positive thing. But I'm not going to say I found it easy, and sometimes I still don't find it easy. Right. But I think just do it. I really advise people to just do it. Just try it. Just share what you have. And it's amazing how positive, how kind, how supportive, encouraging people are around you. Illustrators are just lovely people.
Yes, they are. They really
and they're
are.
happy for you as well. That's wonderful. I mean, I've just had so many lovely messages today for people that are happy for me.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's a kind group of introverts, illustrators are. I'm going to pop up the poll. Go ahead and fill it out if you like. It's always fun to see who's here and a little bit about you. I want to say too that this is the last day to sign up for my course, Illustrating Children's Books. Tonight is the last night, and it's day 4 of 5 weeks. So if you're interested, do get in there and we'll look at some of the work that Janie did for class. And I have huge news, which we just told Janie. We actually sent her the email earlier today, but what time is it in New Zealand?
Well, it's 11 o'clock in the morning now, but yeah, there's been a lot of messages that have come in today. So.
Yeah, she had a lot to read. So we just told her that she got her first job. This is day 1 with a nice company. We can't discuss it, but because it's not out, obviously. And day 1, like, that's unprecedented. It's amazing, but the work is so strong. Yeah, whoop, whoop, oh, yay. They're saying, yeah, it's great. You know, and that should give everyone hope too. Like, there is work. The economy is not great. We know that, but there still is work, and this will be over. And you want to be well-positioned, artists, to get more, to, you know, have your portfolio great and get work. So art directors, we would love you to take a look at her little portfolio here. So I'm going to share the screen and we are going to see her gorgeous work, but you can still see our little faces, nice and little tiny. So, I mean, look at this. Like, what can I say? It's incredible. And she does this on Procreate, right?
Yes.
Procreate, okay. And Leah Quinn has a question. Hi, Janie, when you work predominantly in Procreate, while you work predominantly in Procreate, but do you finish your work in Photoshop?
I do. Procreate, it comes out too dark, and I was actually getting from you too, Lilla, you made a couple of comments that my work needed lightening up. And I found that when I got it onto my Mac and looked on in Photoshop, that Procreate, sometimes the colours don't really translate. They look brighter in Procreate. So I always go over to Photoshop now and finish off there with levels. Levels are the main thing I use it for.
Yeah, she's saying levels. By the way, we asked her about that background, both Kim and I. We're like, is that like a virtual background you popped in? No, that is her, where she really is, that is her house. And you say, I just want to say this, she lives with her husband and 2 indulged sausage dogs alongside a harbor in the flooded crater of an extinct volcano. No, this is not a sci-fi intro. This is the true life of Janie Secker. It's really extraordinary. Wow, so great. So I'm looking at this piece. I see beautiful symmetry. I see very, very soft rendering and shading. I see great research and imagination of maybe made up flora and insects. Is that true? Is it made up, or is it based on what is it? What are they?
These ones are straight out of my imagination for sure. But I mean, obviously, you're informed by what you've seen. You know, I can see flowers in there that have informed me, but no reference gathering for that one.
And we worked together. We worked together on the text. Well, you worked on it and I had a few comments. And I really love what you did, how you have the Lilla's WebinART in this beautiful serif-y kind of traditional font, and then the special guest is sort of a retro script, the white Janie Secker. It's really beautiful. It's very calming. It's very even and peaceful. I find it very satisfying to look at.
So I did get the pens out to do that. I think I
Oh, you got the pens out. Okay. So pins is pens. Okay.
Oh,
I is E.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the one.
That's okay. When I go to England, it's the same story. I'm like, what is that now? Okay, let's look at this page. Tell us what we're looking at here.
This is Herman and Dieter, my little sausage dogs, and my constant companions. I don't have children. I do have furry children. Yeah, they're my little babies, everything. And yeah, my like I say, I don't generally sit down very much at my Mac at the moment, but when I do, it's nice to be surrounded by things that inspire you and calm you, or yeah.
So beautiful. So this is your workspace. This looks photoshopped. Like it looks like you took the studio photo. It looks like you took things and photoshopped them on the picture, but this is your life, right? This is real.
Those are my little paper mache busts. I went through a stage where I was obsessed with making those for some reason.
I made those. I love those. They're very Jonathan Adler-ish. And I love what's on your screen. And we're going to look at the bees in a moment. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is gorgeous. Tell us about this.
So when I was thinking about what to do for the webinar banner, I was just having a look. I had an idea in my head, and this is what I love about illustration, is that you can start with a seed and just where it goes to. So I was looking at, I think it was something to do with vintage hands, and up on Pinterest pops an old gramophone, you know how the more like this comes underneath. So I thought, oh, look at that. The top part of it looks like a beautiful flower. And then that's how it, you know, it's that organic process of planting a seed and just seeing what it grows into. I love that.
Suzanne M says, Janie, your fur babies are so adorable. You should write a story about them. Do you have any interest?
I've thought about that.
What's that?
I've thought about writing a story about them. They deserve one.
We should talk about that. Zoe Tucker, my co-teacher, was just saying, and I agree too, that if you can write and illustrate, it's like the winning ticket. And the world that you would create. Hey, Riley, I'm glad you're here, Riley Wilkinson. So beautifully rendered, he writes, and what a great concept, flowers as music. Burpee Seed Company should hunt you down. Wow, yeah, that's true. Kim, we should pitch her to seed companies.
Oh.
Would that be great?
Yeah, brilliant idea.
Yeah. So let's see, let's look at the next one. Are you all salivating? Take a look at this, people. Each bee she did in the style described underneath: realistic from top left, simple, graphic, painterly, cute, geometric, quirky, sketchy, collage, decorative, abstract, with the paint dripping off, and retro. I love seeing an artist's mind. I love the mind. I love seeing the thinking. I love pure beauty. And really every piece of art has mind behind it, has decisions and thoughtfulness. It's true. But when you see something like this, it's really interesting to see. And what a great way for you to explore 12 different styles. That's great. Did you have a favorite one on here? What was your favorite one?
Quirky. But yeah, I really recommend this as an exercise for illustrators to try if they're feeling a little bit stuck. And it's not about finding a style. I think if you try putting on different hats, it just opens your mind to thinking about something in a different way. And so that's, it's playtime for me doing that. I could, I could do that all day long. It's just good fun. But what the interesting thing that comes about is that at the end of it, I think somebody on Instagram, when I posted it, said they still all look like you. And so even if you are worried about style or searching for style, it's quite a good exercise, because I think you'll find if you do a whole bunch of them that you will see continuity all the way through.
So you like quirky the best?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think do you find that in a sense you use all of them anyway, or many in your work? Like,
yeah, and that's the good thing about doing that, is that you, like I say, it opens your mind to just other ways of thinking. Quirky is probably would be where I would start naturally, and I maybe sometimes just try to smooth that out slightly for consumption, public consumption. But yeah, that's
Anna Bianchi. Hi, Anna says, do you work in all these styles?
No, I don't. I just like playing with it. I just find, I really do find that when I draw, I can't really help my style. I tried, honestly, I did try to suppress it, but I couldn't do it. So I felt like I needed to be a lot more simple, and that's where I wanted to try and take it, but I can't. It's just the way I see, it's the way I see things.
I'm so glad you don't do it this simple. I love what you do. Jennifer Potter, one of my artists, says, I love all of them, especially the decorative. I know that. I want that as like a piece of clothing, like an all gold embroidered. It's just so beautiful. Maggie Summers says, I can so relate, Janie.
Yeah, I think most illustrators can relate to that, that style thing, just finding your place with that.
And I think, the one on the left in the middle, cute, it's cute, but it's not cutesy. I find it tender. And sketchy on the far right, that's a really good character, for kids. And it's important.
Out the three that I would be a mixture of those three, I would say, would be generally where I would wind up.
Right. Kim says, I could see Janie doing a children's book about different art styles. Fantastic. Okay, let us look for, let's look at the next page. Oh, this Agent Susan McCabe here, fell in love with this. Well, she's a beekeeper on the side,
Oh, really?
Yeah, but she's a full-time agent too. But yeah, Jennifer Potter says, what can't she do about this piece of yours? This is amazing. And the sophistication in which you chose to only use blue for the decorative portion, and then the bee realistic colors. I'm crazy about this piece. Looking at your work as an agent and seeing such range of not styles, not versatility in style. No, your style is very consistent, highly rendered, very detailed, very, very controlled, very clean. But the subject matter, the way in which you do a decorative piece, the choices you make here, the crown floating above the bee, that's subtle. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. What did you do this for? Just for fun?
It was a personal piece. I think I was just really playing with the contrast between flat design with the decorative elements, and I got inspiration from Delft and tiles and blue and white vintage china, which is a really great place to look for inspiration, and just the contrast with that and the very realistic bee.
Do you collect that kind of china?
My mum did, so it has meaning for me for sure. She's got loads of blue and white china. Yeah,
that's so
funny that you should bring that up.
It makes perfect sense. And the more you bring in your personal life, your experiences, your visual personal life, the more meaning it has, and the more you care, and it comes through on some subliminal level. So let's see, we have Leah Quinn says, oh yes, a book for young artists and finding their own styles. Imagine with space on the other pages for them to draw their own versions, a take on Rachel Taylor's book in terms of setup and layout. Kim Fleming says, Janie, are you self-taught? Sorry, I'm not able to put this in Q&A as I'm the host.
I learned from Lilla Rogers. I just, as far as Procreate goes, yes. I've always been, you know, I've always enjoyed creating. But yeah, no, I really genuinely did learn in class.
Thank you. I'm so glad you did. And you learned so much, but still, it's really kind of unbelievable. It's mind-boggling. Okay, let's look at another. This is the piece you're giving away, framed, which is so generous of you. Again, the control, the duotone of the background of like a dark pale brown on black, and then the beautiful iridescent purple butterfly. I almost said flower because it is.
I like flying flowers.
It's gorgeous. Is that a moon in the center top?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, moon magic. So there's and sort of the eyes on the butterfly. I know sometimes they have things like that. Courtney McClure says, holy moly, it's so magical. It's so true. Let's see. Riley says, this makes me almost fall to the floor. Those rendered monochromatic flowers. It's so true. I mean, as an art director, you can see so many things for this. Everybody type in what products you could see this used for, commissioned more of, products. I'm going to just spout out some. We have Journal by Elizabeth, Journal, home decor, bath and bed, dishes, Prince card journals, children's bedroom home decor, t-shirt, wallpaper, platter.
Pleasure.
Packaging. Yeah, I'd love all of this for her. Pillows, bowls. You know what else? How about if she were commissioned to do a whole book on butterflies with some information? Would you want to do should we pitch that?
Yeah.
Pitch that?
Oh, it would just
let's talk about that. So we can make a pitch about you doing butterflies and insects and the facts about them. I think that would be so great. You know, I've always been this way. That's why I'm an agent. I'm always like, oh, what could we do that's bigger, that's cooler, and I want to get that for you. That would be amazing. Yeah, we should talk about that. Dream job. Yes, Chrissy.
It is my dream job.
That is?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's something about them that I just love them. Every one is a palette, you know, an exquisite, it's a flying jewel. I love them.
Yeah, so art directors, if you're listening, that would be great. Angelique Cook says, pardon me if this was already mentioned, but it wasn't. I tuned in a little late. How many classes have you taken from Lilla? Which one was your favorite and why?
Okay. I think it's, you asked me this question for the website, I think it was. And I really, for the newsletter, and there's two, I have to say two. Boot camp for just playful exploration that covers all the markets, but for me that was just a very playful time, and illustrating children's books. I think that is really intense. I'm not going to lie, that's the way I have found it. It's a very intense experience.
Intense in what way? Intense in what way?
I have found it not so much now, but the first few I took, I actually found it quite an emotional experience. It sounds really weird, but I didn't just learn about illustration. I learned some things about myself. And I did find it emotional. I found it hard at first. But the thing was, and I always remember my husband saying, it was a few weeks after the first class and I had been quite emotional about it. And he said, just sit down here and look at this. And he showed me what I started off with. And just even in that very first course where I had finished up. And he said, you just need to be really proud of yourself. Look at the growth there. And so it took me a few weeks, and then I realised, yeah, I had a lot of growing to do, but it's like a pressure cooker. Well, this was the way it was for me. It was a pressure cooker, and I think really good things come from that. Sometimes it can be a little bit uncomfortable at the time, but I think you have to be prepared to feel uncomfortable sometimes to grow. I mean, if that's the point you're at obviously, and I was, right at the very beginning. So
well, I think you dove in, with not a fine art or an illustration background or any of that. So amazing, and it is intense, but
yes.
Also your work, and we're going to see Janie's work that she did from class. I mean, it would take most people a month to do what you did in 5 days each week. So we will look at that. Riley, did you see that comment about you, by the way? Okay, let's look at the next one. I fell in love with this too. It's very bright and light.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, like, I feel like my vision is like, not 20/20, but like 10/10 or something. Like I can just see it so well. And it got a little bit of wonky. It's a little bit, you can see a little bit more of the rendering on the saucer, the green saucer on the right. You see the strokes or the lines, but then she's got these highly rendered flowers and raspberries, of course the bee, but the lettering is wonderful too, the serif lettering, and in particular that teacup on the upper left with the black motif and white is really beautiful. Oh, Autumn Hathaway. Hi, Autumn. We met at Kickstand a while back. She asks, how long did Moon Magic take to make? Let's go back.
That one, I think it was about a day. That one was quite fast.
Wait, where was Moon Magic? Oh, the butterfly.
Yeah, that was about a day. Yeah.
What is a day? 8 hours?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. A day for me with drawing can be 12 hours. I can't honestly remember how long it took. That kind of thing doesn't take me so long because it's very, it doesn't have layers or depth to it. It's a surface illustration, if you like. So that is faster for me than perhaps a children's book illustration.
Yeah. Anna Bianchi, hi Anna. Do you create your own brushes in Procreate, or do you have a favorite set you use?
I do. So I use 6B pencil a lot. I don't make brushes. I don't make my own. I'm brush obsessive. If there's new brushes that come out, I will buy them. But there are a couple that I use. There's a handful of brushes I use, but I use 6B pencil, and I use the Bardo gouache dry brush all the time. That's my magic brush.
So fantastic. We're going to talk about color in a bit too. Oops. Let's look at the next one. Was this for creating collections in home decor?
It was, yes. It was Tropical Luxe.
Oh my God. This is, I mean, the cup on the right is so unbelievably gorgeous. I would like, Kim, we should talk about, I'm sure we'll pitch this to fabric companies, and maybe we already have. We did pitch Janie a little bit to some clients before we went live, just a few days before, I think. So this would be incredible. How do you, say Stacy Lynn, you read my mind. You select a color palette before you start every project.
That was the color palette actually. Before I start, sometimes I will select it once I've sketched, actually. Sometimes right at the beginning, but it can change. But this was actually the palette with the trend board I'm pretty sure, because it probably isn't colours that I would normally have gone to. So I think it was from the trend board.
And if you look at the cup on the right, the yellow seems to be so vivid more than usual. And it's because it renders to black. It renders darker. So it goes, yes, it is a lemon yellow, chartreuse, and hot pink. That's my living room.
Exactly.
That is true, Jennifer. But because she renders the yellow to black, it gives a pop in a really rich way. Brenda Harris says, your color palettes are striking, but also so well balanced throughout. And she doesn't use every color everywhere. And I always say on your home decor pitch, don't repeat the same things. Not only does she not repeat like that beautiful, beautiful peacock a billion times, it's once. And not only does she not repeat it, but then she goes and does a decorative plate on top that's that viridian with light viridian green. That's it. Very controlled, very different, very symmetrical, very ornamental. It's just cool. It's great. I love talking about art. It's so fun. Stephanie Morgan Rogers. Thank you for the last name. Thank you for incarnating to have that name. No, okay. What is your favorite how to Procreate tutorial? Like,
I don't think I did many Procreate tutorials. It felt very intuitive to me after Photoshop. So I'm sorry, I can't remember anything specific. I think I did
totally
maybe
fine.
a Will Terry one. I think that might have been one that I did, but for most of it, it was just me feeling it out and Googling what I needed to know specifically as I needed to know it.
So fantastic. I feel like I could leave these up for a really long time, but we're going to go to the next one. And now we have yet a whole different color palette, a whole different feeling. She's got an envelope here that looks like a real piece of paper with the texture and the shadows at the fold areas. And then it opens to a bursting of florals and the bee, of course. I loved your lettering, Lily of the Valley. I remember noticing that. It's just, it's neat, but it's got a little wonk. It's very beautiful.
That was a boot camp mini prompt Lily of the Valley. That was quite a quick illustration, that one.
Quite a quick illustration.
For me, I'm not a 1 or 2 hour person, but that one was just, that was just a few, probably about 6 hours, that one. Maybe a little bit less.
That's so beautiful.
It depends.
So beautiful.
Yeah. I do love the minis in boot camp because you don't feel there's no constraint. It's just completely open to interpretation and how you want to play with it. So they've always been a really good. I've learned lots through doing those exercises.
And you always made my eyes pop out of my head in classes. So, and the beauty is, it got you to do what we need as agents. Is we can't just have great art. We need art that's applicable for markets. We need art that we can pitch to different manufacturers, different publishers, different types of art buyers, ad agencies that they can use, so we can make money for the artists, make money for the agency, and make everybody happy, and bring gorgeous art to our clients that we love, and see beautiful products out in the world. So it's a complicated equation, but here, so type in what this could be used for, people. Type in what this could be used for. I mean, certainly stationery and a journal cover. Am I right? Yes. Yep. Oh, Anna says journal stationery. Greeting cards for sure. Yeah, absolutely, Courtney. Wall art, stationery greeting cards, gardening book for kids, entire cottage decor line, seed packaging, expensive journal. Yeah. Home decor for my front door in metal. Absolutely. Gardening book gifts for gardeners, candle packaging. Ooh, how about like, I don't know, like I'm seeing like this kit where all these things are stickers and emboss stickers and lily of the valley, like rubber stamp letters and different papers. Yeah, scrapbooking, that's what I'm getting at, isn't it, Bloombauer? Yeah, like a whole sort of craft kit. Oh, let's vibe that, Janie. A craft kit where you get all these pieces to embellish your journal. Wouldn't that be nice?
Fabulous.
Ann Williams needs to hire you. Who's that, Riley? Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, let's look at the next one. Buttons, 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 buttons. Let me just move that. Oh, you're seeing the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
This is, I mean,
that was another boot camp mini for sewing. And that, you know, you mentioned earlier about if something has meaning for you. And I always try to find somewhere meaning for me, because it does make creating the piece so much more enjoyable. And yeah, sewing was very nostalgic for me, and my mum's button drawer, and we're making all our clothes. And that one makes me smile, because we're talking about Procreate brushes. You know, I'm obsessed with them, and I was at that point with the whole style thing, and I thought, okay, I bought a whole lot of new brushes, and I thought, right, I'm going to do each button in a different brush.
oh, really?
They all look like I've done them with the same brush, so I kind of thought, okay, there isn't a magic brush.
Oh, well, but what a fun construct for yourself. Let's look at that lettering, buttons in black and cream on an arc. You know, you're a brilliant designer. Okay, you're an amazing illustrator, and you're a brilliant designer to create this, and the border that's so authentically. What time period would this be? Is it like 40s, maybe 40?
Yeah, I would say maybe 1920s to 40s. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Because the border is 20s, right?
Yeah, I would say the border would be 20s.
20s,
Yeah,
and the buttons could be up to the 40s.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I've got very, very straight eyes. Like, sometimes I think when I do lettering, like, that looks a little bit like I did it. I did it in Illustrator or something, and then just rendered it. But no, it's just the way I draw.
And you did that by hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Courtney McClure, you have a good question in the Q&A. I'm going to get to that in a moment. The variety of the buttons, you know, as an illustrator, you need to be a stylist. You need to show us things that are interesting to look at. You can't just show your awesome technique. You can't just show, look how well I draw. No one cares. Maybe they do care. I don't know. Sounds more dramatic to say, no one cares. But I guess people care about you know, someone's great drawing. But you have to have great drawing and what you choose to illustrate, what you choose to depict. And what you're doing is showing us the variety. I still haven't seen every button, really. Like I just noticed the one on the bottom left. Isn't that amazing? Like, yeah. And the one on the top right, I'm now really getting into more. You know, of course, the first one, you see the face, and then at the bottom, the pink and gold, the blue and diamondy one. Riley says that Riley, who's a creative director joining us, says this makes a consumer want more. It's so true. Great point. Your design skills showcase this work so perfectly. It's ready for manufacturing. That's true. This is so great. Okay, let's look at Courtney McClure's question. Can you tell us more about your moments of doubt and coming through them? You're so incredible. It's amazing that you ever felt the way I do now. Heart.
Well, I can absolutely assure you I did. And I think it's okay to have, like I say, it's that balance. I've definitely had some big moments of doubt. And fighting your way through that, I think it's good. I have a negative voice in my head, and it's a man, and he is quite loud, and I do have to suppress that. I'm okay with it though. I'm okay with, I think he made me want to be better, and so I'm prepared to listen to him to a certain extent.
So it's
Yeah.
a critical voice, or
Yes.
okay. But
Critical,
you've
realistic. Realistic.
you've anthropomorphized it. Yeah. I used to tell mine, why are you like this? Please go away. Why? You don't need to do this. You're not helpful.
Yeah, and sometimes just a little. I mean, I think you do need to be realistic as well, and sometimes the things that make you want to get better and grow, you have to give them a little bit of voice. You just don't want them to take over.
Ah,
But I think, yeah, I mean, I think you do have to try and find that part of yourself that wants to do this and listen to that the most. And also, I have to say, just having, I've got some really wonderful friends, both, in my personal life and through, I've got a wonderful friend, Christy de Castro, and she's purely from Make Art That Sells. And she's, a wonderful support. She keeps me on the straight and narrow. So all of those things, really. Yeah, I don't know if that answered
you
it.
journal, meditate, take walks.
I walk with the dogs. Walking
Oh,
is
yeah.
that's meditative to me. So
Yeah,
that would be my meditation. Yeah.
that's
Mm.
fantastic.
Mm.
Okay, this you did. Oh, this isn't the one that has where you put the puzzle piece on it, and this she did for boot camp when I had everybody do paisleys. They drew lots of paisleys, and then I had them turn it into a paisley puzzle pitch. Leah Quinn writes, Riley Lilla, this would make for an awesome digital color forms game toy instead of the former vinyl. It's a digital screen. Think of it as digital paper dolls. I'm sure that was for a previous image. That's cool. I mean, this is just amazing. And yet again, you're broadening your portfolio. This gives me more things I can pitch to. I can pitch this to a puzzle company. But what else? To a home decor company. Plates, obviously, it's round. But just, and fabric, an incredible fabric collection. Apparel, yes, I want to have a dress made out of this. It could be the interior pages of a book, the end papers of a book. It could be a journal, so many things. So, when I look at your work, that's how I decide how to take on an artist. Am I seeing a lot of possibilities? Jennifer M. Potter says, I want a Janie Secker fabric line. Yeah, me too. Okay, now tell us about this because this is really different. This is an earlier.
This represents a lot of firsts for me. It's my first Instagram post since deleted. My first Procreate, the first illustration I did in Procreate. And it is the first piece of work that I ever submitted to MATS, and it was for a competition for the, I was already in the year of art, but you had a competition, Sugar Plum Fairy. So yeah, and I just look at it and I think about you saying about neutrals. Where's the neutrals? I sort of went for every pastel color I could jam in there.
Right. So this was a very early piece. I love that you're showing this because it shows progress. It shows where you started and where you went. And this in and of itself is an incredibly strong piece. Let's look at this. Okay, so now we're talking about what you did for the children's book class. I'm just going to make sure this image is on the screen. I'm going to shrink it up a little bit. There. Okay. I can see the whole thing. In illustrating children's books, one of the things that Zoe and I teach, what she needs to see as an art director and what I need to see as an agent, is we need to see a great character, number one. And then number two, with different expressions, because children don't always understand the words. 2 to 5 year olds, especially 1 and 2, 3-year-olds, don't always understand the language, the words, but they read faces. They read the face of the mama first thing, or the daddy, or both mamas or both daddies, but they read the face and they understand eyes They understand emotion on a primal level. So we need to see that. And that's what art directors want who publish children's books. And here she does it so well. Zoe always says, my co-teacher, don't write the name of the emotion under it. We need to be able to look at it and see it or feel it. And you do feel a range. Is your eye going all around? Yes. And you're feeling the feels, right? And the girl in the middle, I mean, everything is there. The sadness, of course. Even the flower has a bit of a droop. The tears, the downturned mouth, and the hair, like you had a ball with that hair, am I right?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So this was
my fourth class, and I do remember I put this one in because I really particularly remember that this was the first time I felt like I could take a character and turn it around, and it was a little bit of an aha moment, because it's not easy to do that, and it still can be difficult, but you know, it just, okay, I think I see her in my mind, like I can revolve her in my head. So that was exciting.
just amazing. And look at the face on the bottom right with the laughter. It's not easy to do laughter. I don't know that I've ever seen laughter like that. That's so incredible. So this was an earlier children's book piece that you did for class. Why is it not turning the page? Let's see. It's not turning the page. So bear with me.
It's like it's gone to the end.
But this isn't the end.
No.
Maybe I need to get the whole thing. I shouldn't have touched anything. Ah, yay. That's okay. We're not at the end, right? No.
Nope.
Oh, here, I'm moving that out of the way. Okay. I went nuts when I saw this, and I said, I need to take her on. That's it. That's it. You know, and here's the thing. There are a lot of artists in class I want to take on, and I hope you're hearing me, because there are a lot of you that we are looking at. And Agent Susan McCabe and Kim Fleming are looking in the Illustrating Children's Book class, and I'm like, you have to get in there and look around. It's like ridiculous. But we can't take on everybody. And I'm happy but super jealous when artists go with other art agents, and usually they've pitched to us and we just, you know, just don't have the bandwidth, and so they naturally go to someone else, and we're happy for that. But there's sometimes when you're just like, I have to, that's it, we have to find the time to take this artist, and this was that piece. This and the other ones in the series, and it's like, okay, you broke me down, Janie. You broke me down. That's it. You win. I give up. You win. We'll take you. So let me talk about this. I want to talk about it. The translucency of the glass. You clearly understand that it's glass. You feel the hardness, you know, let's get out my, you get that feel, you know, you can almost hear it. You see it, the translucency, how the fish behind it on the upper left is affected by the light of the bottle. The anchor on the top, a nice telling detail. We understand it's underwater. We see the anemones and the seaweed stuff and the octopus thingamajig on the upper right. But then, of course, the number one thing that pops right away, the control that Janie has to get our eyes to go to the main character, the title character of this story that Zoe Tucker wrote, The Lucky Pearl, is the pearl. We see the pearl. And what is the hat or hair or embellishment but this sort of starfish, green starfish, just a wonderful touch. But the control to mute everything and medium value, medium gray of everything outside, the pink pearl with the iridescent quality on the pearl, excuse me, that's amazing. And the eyes, a tenderness, a gentleness that a little child needs to see. They want that, they love that, they feel that. Little children are very tender and delicate creatures. They've only been on this planet a very short time. I remember when my kids were little, I'd be like, wow, you've only been on planet Earth 6 months or a year. It's like, what do you think so far?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's, and you have that tenderness, and then the sand and the how the stone under the pearl is etched with the lettering, the lucky pearl, the script of the word the. Just fantastic, and the colors are beautiful. Did I rave enough?
This piece is very special to me because thank you very much, but because it is really, I mean, you know, some illustrations you can go back and look at, but I actually remember what I was thinking when I was doing it. And
Which was what?
I think I drew, you know, 10, 15 pearls, which of course you'll do anyway, but I was doing them in all different styles because I just didn't think what I did was okay. I didn't think it was illustrative enough. And so, but I just felt worn down with trying to be something that I wasn't, and I just went for it. And that was the moment when I thought, no, you just have to just, and I doubled down, and I really just did everything that I was naturally supposed to do as an illustrator. It's just the way I see things, and so that's the way I have to paint.
So why did you feel you needed to be something else?
Because I felt like, I mean, I even remember Googling illustration once to see the definition, because I felt like I wasn't, I don't know about expressive. I felt like I didn't feel like it was simple enough. I felt odd, I felt different. And
It didn't look like anything out there, maybe, right?
But yeah, sometimes that can be a little bit strange though, because you don't really know if your style is quite different. I mean, in everyone's style, I'm not saying everybody's style is different. And, you know, you go into the Facebook groups and it's just incredible how all the different minds think and all the different ways they draw it. I felt like I needed to simplify a wee bit, but it turns out I can't. So, so this is the way I draw. And so I just went for it and I had fun with it. I dropped all that other stuff. I said, right, it's just time to stop doing that.
Yeah.
And I dug into this.
I think that's a normal path too for for artists. Really, the struggle to find your style is the struggle of finding who you are. It's the challenge of finding yourself and your own voice and your unique. It's a spiritual path. It's a spiritual struggle in that it's really uncovering who we are. It's amazing, and people. Can you imagine what she's going to be like in 5 years? I can't. Okay, let's move along because we have a few more. Tell us about this. What is this?
I just really wanted to show what, this is a cleaned up sketch. My initial sketches I don't think would make sense to anybody, but I do have to clean them up because to me they're a little skeleton that I put clothes on, which is the rendering, and it has to be right before I start doing that or I get all sorts of problems. So yeah, and I did have, you know, I'd gone through that process of creating the character and deciding I was just going to go for it, and I had a lot of fun. I mean, I laughed and pulled the faces and amused myself immensely when I was doing this.
This is just phenomenal to me. It's amazing. On the top row, on the left, you have the guy leaning back on his arms and legs, or her. Just fantastic. It's really spectacular. So in the class, we talk about poses, putting your main character into poses. Again, I as an agent need to see that because I know that's what art directors at children's book publishers are going to need to see. Okay, let's look at the next one. Well, I remember when you put this in class and people were like, wait, was this for the expressions one or poses? Because I remember your expressions one were like, wait, that's the expressions one? It looks like poses.
Yeah,
this was poses.
Yeah, so the other one was just a sketch for expressions.
Yes, but I mean so this was poses, and look in the bottom left, the little guy looking out of the clamshell. And you know, as an agent, I took you on because I need to see your children's books. I crave them. And look at this world you've created. I like help in the middle on the right, help. All the different poses. And you don't just do like reaching, sitting, walking. Zoe loved this, my co-teacher, for those just joining me. That's who I'm referring to in the Illustrating Children's Book class. Zoe loves reaching, stretching, pulling, jumping, and you've got splat on the bottom. You've got every kind of pose, curled up in the fetal position in the middle. It's just so unbelievable. Leah says, when I saw this in class, I was crushed, as in having an immediate artist crush on your style, Janie. Your presentation skills are so top notch. Well, yes, her presentation skills. That's another thing, to have these 3 rows as a way to showcase the various characters. No wonder why you were stressed out in class. You don't have to do this, people, by the way.
No, I was really happy. I was very happy doing this. I laughed a lot doing this piece. It was just the first piece initially. But yeah, I did. I giggled, and I imagined what would I do if I was in a bottle, and that little guy pressed up against the glass is pretty much what I would do. That's me if I was Pearl.
Incredible. And is that, those are hats on its head, little decorative?
Yeah, just a little bit of headgear.
So great. And then the cover, extraordinary, unbelievable. Again, your graphic design skills come in so beautifully. And in each of your book covers, you bring the character out in front of it on the bottom right. So great. Just the
nice
letters of pearl is so beautiful. So great.
Yeah.
Tell us about this. Oh, should we go back to the cover? Tell us about this.
I really just wanted to make Pearl like she was on a stage. So I thought of it like a stage, and the plants, the aquatic life, and the fish all around her, they're like the curtains. And she's got a spotlight on her. And the shell gives a little bit of context, because she does look a little bit like a naked jelly bean. And so the oyster shell really just reinforces that she is a pearl. Yeah, so that was the main thing. I was really trying to be I was very deliberate about the way I placed colour around the outside of her, so that none of that would draw away from her being in the centre stage.
Beautiful. You're deliberate. So they're more in the muted blue greens, and then she would be pinkish white. Beautiful. Yeah. I hope you're reading these comments.
I'm trying to keep up with them, but I'm too scared to touch anything on the screen in case
I know. I'm always terrified I'm going to click the wrong thing. Tell us about this one.
So this was after you sent me a message, and I remember when I got that message on my iPad, it popped up on notifications, and you said something about sending your portfolio in, and I was like,
what did I say?
You said something about sending my portfolio into you, and I sat there. It was, I hadn't opened the message, and I was thinking, be cool, be cool. And eventually I managed to restrain myself a little bit and came in, and and I thought, what can I do? What can I do to send in to Lilla? So I decided to make I made a blurb book, and so that was the cover, and then we had a Skype call after that, and you asked me, this was the way I sent it in, but we did work on the lettering. We worked on some lettering and some other things that we talked about.
So let me just explain. Janie sent a big, beautiful book from blurb.com. You upload your images, make a book, and send it. and we were blown away. When we looked through, it was just incredible. Beautiful, beautiful work, chock full. Oliver Bronson says, Lilla, as an agency, what transpired from the first piece you saw to when you signed Janie on? How long was that time frame? Oof. I don't know. I don't
The time
know.
frame between Pearl or?
The first piece I saw, well, she was in my class in, what did you say, 2015?
Yeah,
16?
it's been 3.5 years. So.
Yeah. So I'm sure I noticed her then. And then, but when did you do Pearl? That was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I sent this book into you around about Christmas, and of course we had Christmas and then COVID, so we kind of had a couple of false starts. Yeah. But,
And then we worked on a few pieces together.
Yeah.
And we were in regular contact, and then we pulled the trigger. Yes. Okay, this was for, tell us about this.
Well, you also asked me to work on people, so I did that as well. And of course, I've included lettering on it, so double whammy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is?
I didn't, you know what, is it Aquafina or Aquafina? I don't even know how to say her name. I'm not really up with it. But, I think some of your artists were doing her, and I thought, oh, well, it would be nice to just do my take on her. And I watched videos of her. I must admit, I'm 51. Never heard of her. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and just getting a feel for who she was. And she has this sort of expression on her face that she pulls that I wanted to.
You really capture it.
Yeah.
She was in Crazy Rich Asians, and she stole, it was a scene stealer every time. Lynn Gaines, hi Lynn. Lynn Gaines says, hello Janie, are you still loving Procreate, or is it traditional media, tugging at you?
Oh, it tugs at me all the time, but I wind up going back to digital. But I do play with it quite often.
It's like you don't, I mean, you've got everything you want.
I do use a lot of textures from hand-painted papers and things. Some in Esty McLeod's classes that I use on top of, well, actually I quite often use, I think I've used one of those papers on this particular one. So I do have some handmade elements in there as well.
So beautiful. Let's look at the next one. Again, such control. I mean, these hands are popping off the background.
I took a photo of my own hands to use as reference. And yeah, I did that for lettering, but I had to add some illustration in there as well. I love this quote as well. That really meant something to me as I was drawing it. And like I say, I do think that matters, and it helps your illustration.
When you care. Yeah,
absolutely.
And tell us more about this.
About
just the whole piece. What prompted you to make this piece?
Because you mentioned about lettering, so I was working on my lettering, so that's what prompted it. And I just looked around for some quotes that would, like I say, mean something to me. And I wanted a kind of a mystical feel to it. So they're almost quite ghostly, the hands. And yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's too much more I can say. I wanted the palette to be very muted, so that the text came through, that you felt like the text was almost flying free from the hands.
She's saying text for Americans. Translating to American. I love that the hands are tilted. The hands are slightly tipped. Slightly, this one's higher. This is hard to do. This is backwards. That's fantastic. So beautiful. Okay, and then last but not least, she whipped this up. We said, we'd like you to do a banner for social media, Square for Instagram, about that you're now represented. And she did this.
So
Tell us
that's
about it.
inspired by vintage jewellery, like
Mm.
the old brooches and
Mm-hmm. So great.
yeah.
It is, yes, absolutely. It looks like metalwork, like yeah,
Exactly. That's what I was going for.
just fantastic. And your lettering looks like carved, right? Like what is that? Like carved
So
into stone?
yeah,
What
I
you
just I
chisel?
use I just draw in the lettering and then I use a little bit of highlighting to one side to just give the impression that it is sitting in, that it's been engraved.
It's incredible. So beautiful. So beautiful. Let us stop that share and go back to our giant heads. And oh, Jenny, that was so incredible. So incredible. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We've gone quite some time because I loved every minute. I wanted to go a while. Thank you so much. We're so thrilled. Look at it's now dark in my studio and the sun is fully up for
It's really streaming in.
it. Looks incredible. Thank you so much. And we're so happy to represent you. We're so delighted. Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm like closing. No, we have the giveaway. The giveaway and a reminder that so stay tuned. We have the giveaway. You want to hold that up? This is what you're going to win. Thank you, Janie, for this incredible gift, framed butterfly. I want to win. Too bad I can't win. I want to remind everybody this is the very last day to sign up for Illustrating Children's Books, which is how we found Janie. And it's the last time and the only time we're running it in this year. So do join us. It's day 4 of 5 weeks and you get your texts. You get to pick one of the 4 texts and there's already lots of downloadables and an assignment for you. So, and if you're in ICB, Illustrating Children's Books, write that down, type in ICB. I want to see my peeps. So now we have the giveaway. This is, wow, that was fast. This is how we do it. We're going to say a category that Janie picked, and she also picked the answer. So you can guess as often as you want. You can guess many times, as often, keep going. The responses come in so quickly, we can't even see them all so quickly, but Kim in the background, say hi, Kim.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
She will look as best she can and find the first one that she can see. It may not be the first one that's typed, but that's how it goes. It is what it is, and you get what you get and you don't get upset, as they said in preschool. So do understand that you might, even if you guessed it, it's who Kim sees. Okay, the category is a breed of dog. Type in a breed of dog, a breed of dog, a breed of dog.
That's the harder one.
And I will tell you, it's 2 words.
Almost.
Got to be both words, 2 words.
This is good. It's going slower.
Oh, I
Wait,
saw it.
okay,
saw
I
it.
someone. Stop everyone. Okay, Marta, who guessed Border Collie. You got it right. So please email me at Kim so it's KIM at LillaRogers.com and we'll organize getting that sent out to you. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Oh, she's lucky. She's a lucky lady. That is great. Next WebinART is August 13th. Mark your calendars. I'm not doing one next week because I have my creative week where I do all creative content for Make Art That Sells and for the agency. So I kind of take a break from things on the outside world. So the next WebinART is August 13th, Thursday at 12:30 with Kellyanne Dalton, who's incredible as well. And I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing her and talking to her. Thank you so much, Janie. What a wonderful send off and start to your brilliant career.
Just saying thank you so much for all the work. I'll get back to everybody. I've had so many lovely messages today. It's just meant the world to me. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, everybody. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. We enjoyed seeing everybody, and we are super excited to get jobs for the wonderful Janie. See you next time. Bye.